What's up, creamies? Welcome to another episode of I Scream You Meme, the only podcast about scary stuff on the internet and internet scary stuff and why the internet is scary.
The only podcast ever, actually.
Yeah, forget the other ones. I know that it's a very saturated market right now. There's a lot of podcasts out there, but you know where your bread gets buttered. It's at the creamery. It's here.
Yeah. What's a good butter for you? Like, what is a butter brand? Butter type?
I mean, Kerrygold, I like their, the classic Irish butter. That's got to be like, that's a top tier butter. But I'll admit, generally speaking, I'm just getting like whatever generic butter there is. I mean, Kerrygold is like, that's a special occasion butter.
I feel it.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. Kerrygold. Yes, we have the brick, which is sometimes a little tedious. Like, I've gotten the Kerrygold that's in like the tub, but it's like for some reason so hard to like spread. Or at least the ones that we keep getting are like really hard to spread. And then there's like if I want something that's like Kerrygold is definitely like my brother and my dad know not to use it for like every day.
Right, for sure.
But if it's like an everyday butter, it's like the Dairy Gold.
Oh, okay.
They have Dairy Gold. And then like if it's just like butter to butter, it's like the Crocker. What is it, Crocker or whatever?
Yeah.
The tub. That's like, what is it?
The margarine. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's like if you're just buttering the pan for like no reason, buttering something for no reason. But Kerrygold, Dairy Gold, like, are you having a special toast? Are you buttering like cake pan? And do you have any opinions on like they have like the whipped butter? They have like the butter in a tub.
I think just a basic butter. I mean, like, because the whipping butter seems to me kind of like a cash grab because it's like basically it's less butter. It's the density of the butter is lower because it's whipped, right? And so you're not getting as much butter as you would, but they like price it up because it's like, oh, it's whipped, but it's like, yeah, but you get less butter.
There you go.
And you can whip butter yourself. It's not like impossible to do, right? So
yeah, you can. It's like hand whipped butter.
Yeah. Get to whipping.
But get to whipping. Yeah. Yeah. I think I like the idea of like having like the butter dish, but it feels like too like the just like out on the counter butter dish. Yeah, like like it's like a plate and then it has like the cap thingy like that, and then like there's that one thing that's like you put the butter in the thingy and there's like a little water on the inside,
right? Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. I want that, but I'm also like, I want that, but I'm also like. Let's just put it in the fridge.
I mean, I know like it's very like an American thing to like refrigerate butter or like refrigerate eggs, but I do refrigerate both, and I'm just like, it's whatever. I feel like I've never had an egg go bad. Maybe just because I use a lot of eggs, but I've never run into that issue, and I feel like that seems to me more like likely with like unrefrigerated eggs, even if it's not going to hurt you. They might spoil a little faster in my head.
Yeah, I think our house, I don't eat eggs.
Yeah.
I cannot eat eggs. Not chicken, not nothing. But eggs go fast in our house because my dad and my brother eat a lot of eggs.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's like the refrigeration for eggs here is because of the way that the U.S. cleans their eggs.
Yeah.
Versus like other countries cleaning their eggs. Like and like we can't, like there's that recipe, like the raw egg recipe, the Japanese with the sesame oil and things.
Yeah.
Like they're like, this is best to do with like non-American eggs because of the way it's clean and blah, blah, blah. You can do it with other eggs, and I'm like, wish that were me. But it's like the way we clean it. But and plus, I think if I left butter out in California,
it'd be melted by the time you get back to it.
That shit would be not beautiful. I would waste the Kerrygold.
Yeah, and you can't waste that. It's worth its weight in Kerrygold. Also, like our cats, or one of our cats, is very fat motivated. Like she likes to lick like oil off the stove if I don't clean it off, and so like leaving butter outside would definitely would lead to the cat eating a stick of butter very quickly.
A stick of Kerrygold, straight to the gob. Did you know that there was this thing a while back that was like if you put a little butter in your coffee?
Oh yeah, like the bulletproof coffee thing.
Yeah, I did that with Kerrygold for a bit when I was drinking coffee still, but I wouldn't like put a thing of butter in there. I would have toast and then like the leftover butter that was on the spoon, I would put it in the coffee.
Wait, so you had like crummy butter in your coffee?
Bro, like I'm gonna eat it with the toast anyway. So it's like it's all going down at the same time. But like low key, Kerrygold, like it wasn't the unsalted Kerrygold. It was a salted. And it was kind of good.
Elevates the coffee flavor.
Did my camera freeze?
I think your camera did freeze. But you're back. You're back.
I'm back. I'm glad that it was like at this.
Yeah. And you have a little extra texture from the toast in your coffee.
Yeah, and it's like, it's gonna. I dip my coffee. I dip bread in coffee anyway, so it's like it's gonna end up in there.
Yeah, you know, I get the I get the thing.
Yeah, so maybe salt your coffee. I don't know. I don't know.
I can't speak to that. I've never experimented with salting my coffee.
Salt your coffee with like some butter, like salted caramel situation.
I do cinnamon in my coffee. That's a very like I'll put a little cinnamon like in the grounds before I get it going. I think it makes it a little easier on the tummy, and it just adds a nice little pop of cinnamon flavor. So,
what's your usual coffee making scheme? Are you a drip? Do you do drip coffee? Do you do instant?
We just do like drip. Yeah, yeah. I like we have a big thing of instant too because sometimes we'll break out the instant, but you know, generally drip. How about you?
I do. Yeah, if it's like I don't drink coffee during the weekday anymore because of my medicine, but on the weekends. Like I like a drip coffee because I like the going through the whole thing of it because coffee is like a special thing now. Yeah. But like obviously I'll get like an iced coffee from other places or like a Dunkin' situation because I'm like coffee is coffee, especially since I can't have it that much anymore. So I'm like, it's a little treat. But I like the drip because it's like, we have I have the ceramic one that you can place directly on the cup.
Right, yeah.
And then I have a glass one that has like the metal netting thing.
Yeah.
That's like, it looks like a beaker of some sort. Right. And then I like doing that if it's like I'm doing like a big bulk of coffee or if I'm doing like a cold brew situation that I need a bunch of coffee. But yeah, like a drip is very cool. I used to be like, do I really need to like get into like the drip? Can't I just I have a coffee maker, but like the drip is a little like the cleaning process of it is like a big old
machine. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. But it's been coffee talk.
Coffee? That's breakfast talk from the creamery, you guys?
It's Saturday. It's brunch. It's the brunch time when we're recording this.
Yeah, it's brunch.
So I think we can excuse ourselves, but yeah, butter, coffee. Speaking of, how do we segue from butter to coffee? Yeah,
I don't have anything regarding my person like wakes up. I don't know.
The person wakes up. I have something kind of okay. I don't know. Let's get into it. Let's fuck a segue. We don't need that. We're not professionals.
What fuck a segue? Yeah. Fuck a segue. I couldn't even segue out of that.
Like, okay. Well, this is quickly turning on us. Let's go. Okay. All right. I'll go first. Okay. Yes, cool. All right. Breathe, Ben. This is what you train for. Let's set the stage. Okay. Our story begins in the salad days of 2009. Obama was president. Boom Boom Pow by the Black Eyed Peas was on the charts. And Annoying Orange had just released and changed internet comedy forever. God. JD, do you know how many Annoying Orange videos there are in the year of our Lord 2024?
I thought they would have been done like by the time like it was 2012. To be honest with you, oh my god! Wait, like the original like Annoying Orange?
Yes, yeah, the same creator.
What is like? Are you going to tell me like how many views there still are of the Annoying Orange series?
Oh, I don't have the number of views. I'm sure they're still doing great. We can take a peek at that right now. But do you have a guess on the number of videos?
Okay, so 2009-ish, 2010-ish. It's been like 15 something years. Oh my god! Like some channels will have 1K at like 2 years, right?
Right.
I'm gonna say like I'm gonna do like a low like 2,000.
That's pretty much just spot on, like 2,100.
Oh shit!
Okay, so their most recent video came out 23 hours ago. They have 29,000 views. It looks like they're still getting 100, 120, 400K. Yeah, okay, so they're still doing pretty good.
That's nothing to sneeze.
And they have 12.6 million subscribers. And it went up. Now it's 2.2 thousand views since I've recorded or videos since I recorded it. So my information is already outdated in the Annoying Orange sphere. So yeah, we have a spoil of riches for us cultured comedy connoisseurs. But we're not going to be talking about the comedic stylings of Dane Bodeheimer,
Who was it? Dane Cook? I was like,
no. That's Dane Bodeheimer is the non-binary royalty of internet funny stuff.
Let's go, legend.
Yeah, but we're talking about a different person, the person with many names today. At this point, the two to keep in mind are Human Being 151 and Insomniac, and then we'll get to the other names as they'll come up later. Human Being 151 Insomniac, joined YouTube on September 26, 2009. He posted for the next year until a Crack.com article by Nick Coffin and Derek James was published on October 26, 2010, titled The 7 Most Unintentionally Creepy Places on the Internet. Human Being 151's channel got number 2 on the listicle. But why? By the time of the Cracked article, Human Being 151 had released nearly 1,300 videos. His bio claimed that he had written over 150,000 songs. So, were the videos just working towards documenting his songs? Were these just the first 1%? According to the Cracked article, of these 1,300 videos, quote, only one of them had any music. From scanning the Wayback Machine capture of his channel from October 2010, I'm guessing that video is me singing Could I Have This Kiss Forever by Enrique Iglesias, Whitney Houston, which was his most recent video and featured at the top of his page at the time. I couldn't get in to see the whole list of uploads and wasn't able to watch any of his videos because they were all, not fully archived. So I can't confirm much beyond this. But here's a quote from the Cracked article. There's only one message in all of these videos. Diddy needs to check his MySpace inbox because he's been sent an important message. Various titles for these plaintive clips include Diddy, Dear Mr. Diddy, please read this. Diddy TV Official and Diddy 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 P Diddy Puff Diddy Diddy Twitter. Now, of course, since the top video is a cover of a duet by acclaimed singers Enrique Iglesias and Whitney Houston, we can assume that there is more than one message in all of these videos. There's also a video still visible called All My Written Songs. But yes, the other videos I could find were all Sean Combs related. We're talking P. Diddy, Dirty Money, Angels, Diddy, Dirty Money, Angels, Dirty Money. Diddy Angels, P. Diddy Angels, Diddy new video, and I will pay $5,000 to see Diddy. In his most infamous video, highlighted in the article and still available as an upload by user Human Being 15, which is 9 minutes and 26 seconds. We're going to clip through a little bit, but we're not going to watch the whole thing. But let's see if we can.
I need to pause you right now. Yeah. Is it going to be scary?
No.
Or is it just like kind of like a guide?
You'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll go through this. So, you seen this?
No, I haven't.
No. This has lived in my memory for like a long, obviously since like 2010.
Really?
Yeah.
You've seen
I saw this. I think I was a Craft.com reader, and I remember this article coming out in this video. Whoa. So this is like the video, as you can see. It's just notebooks, notes on walls, binders. And as we go through the rest of the tour of the room, more notebooks. And they're just stacked floor to ceiling in some places. And then he starts to flip through the notebooks. And the footage is not great here, but the messages are all like, Brother Diddy, please accept. Or Mr. Diddy, please accept. But yeah, it's 9 minutes and 26 seconds of that, pretty much.
Oh my God, okay, listen. Yeah. That is a shit ton of like notebooks purchased from Target.
Yeah, it's a lot of single subject notebooks, right?
How much money do you like? Okay, I'm thinking back of like school supply shopping and 10 or so years ago, 10 to 15 years ago. Those notebooks were like $75, $1.
Yeah, right.
And then the stack, maybe like that's like a stack of them, like 20 in like one of those. Not even 20. That's got to be like 50, like 100 in the box. Like this, that's a lot of money.
It seems like, yeah, if he bought them is a lot. If he like somehow found a pallet or something, it's maybe more explainable. But like,
if this person worked at Target,
maybe, yeah,
like whatever store, maybe they got like a discount of some sort.
Maybe, well, but yeah, it's a lot of notebooks. I mean, no matter what's going on, there's the number of notebooks is a mystery. How somebody
they're all like written through with that like Brother Diddy, please accept.
He does show several notebooks that are completely filled with that. I would say that they are always pulled from the top of the stacks in a way that I think is probably intentional. We'll get to why I think that a little bit later. Okay. But yeah, basically for people that are listening, it's notebooks. It's notebooks. There's a lot of notebooks. Stacks and stacks. There's also stacks of boxes throughout the room. There's a box labeled Sterilite, so maybe he was planning on getting a little bit better organized. And there is a box labeled Combos, so we know that he has good snack taste. That's what we got on him.
There's also white binders.
There's white binders too, and he flips open the white binders, and a lot of them do have like loose leaf paper in there with the same message. Bye bye bye.
Variety.
Brother Diddy.
God, combos.
Yeah. And then as we go through the room, he shows poster board with a couple other messages. Mr. Diddy, all this hard work I've done for you, Diddy. And Mr. Diddy, all this hard work I've done for you. So yeah, opens the notebook seemingly at random, always from the top of stacks, and flips through them. And then they all say either "Dear Mr. P. Diddy, please accept," or "Brother Diddy, please accept." So standard stuff. And now we do already have another probable alias in here because the exact same video was posted by Human Being 15 and then also Human Being 151. But the Human Being 15 one was posted like 2 weeks before Human Being 151 started their account on September 13th, 2009. And then September 26th was when Human Being 151 started his account. So little mystery. Don't quite know what was going on there. Human Being 15's channel is still active, and this is the video that most people are directed to now. The cracked article drew a lot more attention to Insomniac's main channel, and soon the channel was taken offline. Some people speculated that Insomniac deleted the account due to harassment, but it seems like the account was actually terminated by YouTube for, quote, repeated and severe violations of our community guidelines and or claims of copyright infringement, which is kind of just a standard, we deleted this account message. Yeah. Sleuths on 4chan's X Paranormal board found that Human Being 151's account was linked to his Google Plus account, and this led to another YouTube channel called An Ill, which only has 4 videos. My favorite is titled Drake, featuring 2 Chainz, new official video. And
we got some timely names in here.
We do. I mean, it's still in here. We're going to be SEOing the shit out of this video, hopefully.
SEOing the shit out of this guy.
But yeah,
fuck Dave.
This one has a little sound, so I want to make sure that you're hearing.
Okay, I got my ears.
You're hearing this. Okay. Start off with a little nose picking.
What's up?
It's a joyful little song. I don't think he says the.
Is that what you said the other day? That you were like, "This is gonna be featured."
That move your feet is gonna factor in. Yeah, I did. It's 17 seconds. And 5 of those seconds are him picking his nose, and then he launches into a cover of the Junior Senior song "Move Your Feet." I'm not sure if he's saying the lyrics. It didn't sound like it to me, but
it didn't sound correct.
No. So this account, I would trace. It was subscribed to only 2 other accounts: singlemuslim.com, self-explanatory, and Booty Lover 999. Now, Booty Lover, yeah.
Let me write that down.
Yeah, we need to trace this because this is my real chalkboard or corkboard conspiracy.
Pepe Silva.
Yes, there's a lot of strings to trace here. Booty Lover 999 has no information on their page, and it only follows 1 account. She wants to have my kids. She wants to have my kids has the bio. I'm a guy. I comment, which I bet you do, buddy. I bet you comment. And it has 10,000 subscribers based on 6 bizarre videos clearly intended for masturbation purposes with titles like Tasting Her Tongue and I Cannot Lie and You Stole My Virginity. All of these videos have at least 1 million views. She wants to have my kids also repeatedly links to sexy.com, spelled SEXCII. Archived versions of sexy.com reveal it to be she wants to have my kids solo softcore porn website. It was all like weird kind of fetish content stuff, like kind of skirting censor. It was weird. It was also a supporter of the National Breast Cancer Foundation and a carbon neutral website. So
save the boobies.
I'd save the boobies. It was that era, which I appreciate that. Thank you. She wants to have my kids. The website is still up, but I don't think it's his website anymore. Like now, it's just like a general porn site.
Okay. So
given that Booty Lover 999 only follows 1 account, I think we can establish that it's a feeder account to She Wants to Have My Kids softcore porn network, right?
Okay.
So using this information, I think that we can establish safely that Insomniac was, in fact, cranking his hog. Now, confirmed. Is there something more interesting, more telling on this channel? Yes. The only video that is not him singing is titled All My 100,000 Songs, Anil, which is a video of that same room of notebooks posted 4 years after the original Brother Diddy video. The editing has improved a bit. Now there's some bad music, and he has text on the screen. It says, I have been writing songs since a very long time ago. The number of my songs got increased to almost more than 100,000 songs. I have wrote, and the only dream I have is to sing them all and bring the true reality. Which is a very ominous end there. It sounds kind of like a horror film. But then he says, into the history of music. So really, he's just trying to bring his reality of the history of music. The music cuts out around 8 minutes in. And then it's still another 6 minutes of him showing off the same notebooks that he showed in the Brother Diddy video. And then it ends with a text. And that's the reason I named myself Insomniac. I've never slept. Well, no sleep in my head, just music. And then he edits in a deep-fried version of his profile pic. In this video, we never see the inside of any of the notebooks, but I think it reframes the Brother Diddy video and the whole impetus for Human Being 151. As YouTuber Slightly Sociable pointed out, the early days of YouTube were a lawless wasteland. It was an era where YouTube awarded and incentivized chasing clicks and keyword spamming, and just laying out as many keywords as possible was a totally viable way to achieve views. So the P. Diddy, Dirty Money, Angels, Diddy, Dirty, Angels, Dirty Money, Angels, Dirty Money could be less a desperate cry of a devoted Diddy fan and more the desperate cries of someone trying to game YouTube search.
SEO.
It also makes it seem like the Brother Diddy Please Accept notebooks were more of a prop to gain views, as he reuses the same notebooks for another video where it's implied that they're full of something other than notes to Diddy. I have no evidence for the statement, but I'm not convinced they're full of 100,000 songs either. As I continued to trace Insomniac's steps, I came across another one of his accounts on YouTube, God is Great 1. This account seems closer to the original Human Being 151 channel. Do you want to guess how many videos this one has? I'm going to say it's more than Annoying Orange. I'll tell you that.
What? I was going to say like a simple, there's one video on it. More than, okay. So more, I'm going to say like 3,000.
10,000.
What?
Yeah. And most of these are 4 to 10 second clips from songs with the title, Music is the Only Reason I'm Still Alive and Kneel, followed by a string of numbers, presumably to differentiate between the nearly 10,000 other videos in the file name, right? By file name. But then he also uses some of similar kind of tricks, things we've seen before, with titles like Lil Wayne, No Worries, official video, Feat, Detail, I Ain't Got No Worries, Lil Wayne 50 Cent New 2013, or my favorite, and you know we're going to have to see this, Future feat Lil Wayne and Drake, Bitches Love Me, Good Kush, official video. Hold up. Share screen.
Ooh.
So he's gotten access to iMovie. I think we can see that.
Yeah, he's grown into this, like, he's got filters now. Yeah. He's got a style.
He's stunting. He's kind of doing like
he's kind of stunting. He has a studded belt from Hot Topic.
We can pretty much guarantee that the studded belts are a thing for him.
Studded belt. He probably has a studded wristband to match with it, and he has.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But there's there's something about the stunting, the era of the clothes and the stunting, and also to me the kind of combination of the blue filter and the like grainy, shitty sound quality that makes it sound like it's like almost like a takeout from like a Caretaker album to me. I feel like maybe it's almost ready for like a true crime documentary, like that clip. Like it could be like, what happened to. And like the sad piano.
We have the usual like the black and white one.
Yeah.
This one's like Anil's version of like it's black and blue. Mm-hmm. It's a little purple.
Yeah.
It's got style.
Blue like his soul, his sadness. Mm-hmm. This YouTube channel also contains a link to a Flickr page, and this is where we really have to break out the red strings here. So get them ready, get the corkboard out, because Slightly Sociable discovered that a lot of these Flickr images, which are him posting fit checks, are used in YouTube videos by, let's air quote here, other creators. like Jessica Hain, who has 47 videos all about Anil, and all of which are slideshows of photos from his Flickr, featuring titles such as Rick Ross, Holly Ghost, feat. Diddy, Anil Iyer, pictures. Anil Iyer equals sexy. Black, blue, Aston Martin, Anil Iyer swaggin'. Anil Iyer gives y'all a swag lesson. Learn. I love his swag. The Facebook link to her page is Ayla Loves Anil. This link no longer works. Now, Slightly Sociable found that the profile picture used for Jessica was also used in the classic 2012 piece, Hot Girls in Jean Shorts versus Jean Skirts, 55 HQ photos from The Chive. While The Chive did not credit any of the hot girls in jean shorts or the ones in jean skirts for that matter, which is a whole other side issue, but consider yourselves on notice from Ice Cream You Meme, The Chive, a website that somehow still exists in 2024. I'm not sure how, but Google Images was able to identify her as Demi Rose, a British influencer and model. So, shockingly, it seems like Jessica Hain is not who she appears to be. But she's not the only dedicated superfan. There's also Lauren David. There's Lisa Alvaro, Zara Ermrani, Leela Jan, Susan Ayer, Albina Vina, Marwa, Swagger Bitchy, Diana One Loves Anil. And on Flickr, there's also Selena249 and Sexy Jessica for Anil.
How's that sexy spelled?
It's spelled the regular way, just sexy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
None of these names are capitalized in the profiles. All of the pages feature videos of slideshows from Anil's Flickr, similar naming conventions for videos, and the biographies are all only related to Anil. So we can ascertain that maybe he has some kind of strange power over these women's minds, right? He's kind of like the cordyceps from The Last of Us, right? But it looks like these videos all stopped around 2013, so maybe the brain fungus took them all out. I think we need to look into where these women are today.
We need to look into Anil's powers.
We do. But Anil, he persisted. He was still going after this. Going off his most frequent names, I was able to find a Facebook page which linked to an Instagram and Twitter. The Facebook page has over 580,000 followers. A secondary Facebook page of his has 49,000 followers. His Instagram has 328,000 followers, but is currently private. And his TikTok has 40.8 thousand followers. He doesn't appear to follow anyone on Instagram or TikTok, and he only follows one person on Facebook. That one person is another alt account of his, Anil, 2 words. His main Facebook page has been active since 2017, but his secondary Facebook page was active until 2019. His Facebook presence is an update of his Flickr, a stream of fit checks and flexing. His TikTok is more of the same, but in short form video, a lot of stunning with the hashtag luxury. There's the occasional video of him handing a wad of 20s to a unhoused person. Also, there's a video of a tiger drinking out of a hotel sink. So we can confirm that he was in Dubai at some point, because where else would that shit happen, right?
And Anil got big money.
He got big money. He flexes like Lamborghinis, like supercars and stuff. He's got money. So that's part of why I was like, this may seem a little bullying in this episode, but I think that he's doing just fine.
He got big money.
He got big money for sure. A lot of supercars, a lot of fancy hotels. But his last post on TikTok was at the end of 2021, so he's been inactive for a bit. Now, the tiger in the room of the discussion, one that I don't really have the answer for, is how many of his followers are real and how many of them are from engagement botnets. Can't say for sure, but there's a lot of people commenting the same thing on his Facebook pages. Best of luck, Anil, wherever you are. You seem to be stunting. You're doing just fine, as far as I can tell. But it's been a while. I'd love to see some more content from you. I can't pretend to fully understand Insomniac's motivation for posting the Diddy Notebook video, but I don't think that that's as simple as the cracked article and the online reaction at the time makes it seem. The Diddy fixation may have been real, but the overall impression from reviewing the last 15 years of his posting and content is more that the motivation is less anything for Diddy and more anything for fame, or at least the appearance of fame. Anil still often refers to himself as a producer, a musician, a designer, but he doesn't seem to post anything related to music or design. What I'm saying is, I miss the old Anil, who tried to trick people into hearing him sing by promising a secret Drake video. Now his work seems, hesitate to call it derivative. It's about the appearance of success, but the appearance has been entirely divorced from the process behind it. In those early videos, there's something of the starving artist about Anil. His thousands of claims that music is the only reason I'm still alive seem sincere. In his more recent work, it seems that the music has lost its status and luxury and opulence have taken its place. Is it reflective of the hollowing out of our culture and base reality, of the shift to influencers who sell us a sterilized, idealized version of this reality? of the elevation of aesthetics and appearance at the cost of substance? Who knows? But when we go back to his most famous video, the Diddy Notebooks, which still consistently gets comments on YouTube and occasionally Reddit threads, it's been getting a boost in attention with a recent wave of allegations against Sean Combs, P. Diddy. So we got some comments in the last month that were like, "You knew it, just admit it. This aged like fine wine. Man knew before all of us. And coming here after the revelations is a borderline religious experience, and we were all drawn to Mecca." Or, that's my question. Do we still think it's just some wacko and that there was nothing more to it? Just speculation, since I've seen many deranged fan/stalker stories, and none of them are quite like this one. The extreme lengths he went to are not indicative at all of someone who would just forget about it without crossing any more lines and move on with their life. Could the story be deeper than just a random crazy person? Did he know something? Did he know Diddy personally? I think the story could have a darker ending now, rather than, guys, probably just crazy. Who knows? Now, let's be clear. Comments from when the video was posted back in 2009 were shitty. To be clear, I am not saying that comment sections are kinder back then, but there was less of a vibe that he had uncovered some of Diddy's dark secrets and knew too much, and more that he was obsessed, and to phrase it nicer than the commenters back then, was maybe in need of some mental health care. We love to end with what's scary about what we covered, kind of our format. And in this case of the Brother Diddy video, I think that the horror is less in the video itself. The video does have the aesthetics of a creepy video. I think it remains effective, and that's why people were drawn back to it after the Diddy allegations resurfaced. That's what made me remember this video. With that being said, I was not expecting the conspiracy thinking to have reached a video of a man showing a room full of Walmart notebooks. I agree with the sentiment that there's more to the video than guys probably crazy, who knows, but that doesn't mean that I think that there's some vast conspiracy. I think it might just mean that human motivations can be complicated, and social media does fuck with our heads. For instance, making us believe that a room full of single subject notebooks could be the tip of the iceberg for knowing about a sex trafficking ring. So that's what we got. That's my profile on Anil.
Anil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and it's also like, if I was gonna look at this as like an offline person way, I think like some of us, like when we were younger, just sometimes had like an obsession with something that kind of was like really like strange. Like some people had like hundreds and hundreds of posters of like specific single bands kind of thing that don't come off too strange and eerie because they're not filming it to complete silence and just leafing through pages of notebooks kind of thing. So like a tender look at it is like maybe Anil was just super into Diddy,
he could just totally loved Diddy too.
Have a branding situation, like you know, people were like you said, YouTube was very lawless back then. You could do, it was the start of something that was brand new. You could put anything up on there and you'd get that kind of thing. So maybe Anil was just like trying to figure out what YouTube was, what it can do for him as like maybe current Neil just may have like sold out to the luxurious feel of luxury, but like maybe back then it was a genuine sort of like, I would like to be a producer, but I don't know how to go about it.
I think
so this is my thing.
It seemed kind of like that, where there was just like, it was all very music related, where it seemed to have kind of shifted to just kind of general, more generic influencer. I have a lot of money, and then also like the whole like giving money to homeless people, that kind of stuff, of kind of like trying to game with like the kind of kindness influencer thing occasionally, which, you know, it seems that again seems less motivated by like, I want to be seen as like a musical person, a musician, a producer. But
and then your mentions about like the paid or purchased fans kind of thing, and the whole strategy thing. I know she has a name. I don't remember it, but I'm not going to look it up and specifically say who it is, because her and her mother are very litigious people. Sure. But there is this girl who I think maybe a couple of years ago, maybe more than a couple of years ago, sort of made up the influence and her like sort of power by like purchasing a whole bunch of like Instagram accounts, and then was like, oh, I got PR packs from da 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 da, like, and it was like a whole situation of everyone's like, where did she come from, who is she, and then like people investigating into it and finding out that like, oh, her and her mom did the strategy of like just faking everything, attending events or going to places and saying that like she was invited to do here. Oh, she made custom like lipsticks over here because she was invited. But it turns out that like you can do that, like anyone can do that kind of thing, and making up her influence. But then turning out now that because people found out this thing about her and they won't be like, yeah, we did do that. They're just like saying, actually, that did happen to us. Like my daughter is famous. She is now like known for, she is kind of an influencer based on like the faked.
Yeah, right. It's still like a game. It's a gameable system in terms of like if you have the attention and the juice, you can still kind of like make it happen, even if it's fake in some ways, or it is bot.
If you got that Michael's secret stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a good look at this was very interesting because like it is like a lot of these sources, a lot of these websites very much like date us because we're like, yeah, we were on Cracked, we were on early YouTube, we were on all of these websites. We had Google Plus.
Yeah.
So it's like we know how these social networks come about and go, and like we kind of know how to use them and all that stuff because we were like young during that time and we knew about how strange and weird it was in the beginning and how everyone was using it to like do something to try and figure out what they're going to do about it.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like that early era of social media. And I think also like the seeds of kind of like the mindset. I think it sounds like the influencer you were talking a little bit about as well, of like any attention is good attention, even if you're getting like dunked on constantly, which there's people that are just like, yeah, but I'm still getting views. So fuck it. I'm making it happen. Yeah.
And then I do want to know how much money you spent on those notes.
I think that's the most persistent mystery is,
And the binders are not like notebooks. And then like loose leaf is sometimes like loose leaf can be like 75 cents, 99 cents, like depending if it's like college rule or white rule thing. So like knowing that Anil now currently has like big money.
Yeah.
Like, did he have access to big money when he was in this like sort of age, or were there those Anil's parents' money?
It's tough to say. I mean, I feel like it definitely looked like that. The apartment looks kind of like maybe like a college kid's apartment. I think like that early one.
Okay, so you roughly that's like I would guess his age during.
Yeah, I would guess that maybe that was more parents' money because like the Flickr account and all of his social media posting kind of became more flexy with more appearances of wealth and more kind of supercar stuff. As it went on, like I think the TikTok is definitely like the peak where it's like, oh, he's got like money. Like before it was like, yeah, I mean, he's got like, he's got Mercedes, he's got like Land Rovers and stuff. But now it's like, oh, he's got like Lamborghinis and he's like staying at like Dubai hotels with tigers drinking out of his room or whatever, where you're like, yeah, okay. So he's,
Neil, then that's, I don't know. That's very interesting to like think about how it's like persisting now. I thought this was going to be like a photograph of like the early 2010s and the sort of strangeness of the internet landscape, social media landscape kind of thing. So it's interesting to know that like Anil is still persisting out there.
Yeah.
I think it is interesting if he just persisted as like a musician and producer. If you have money these days,
yeah, right,
you can sort of self-produce, you can become an independent producer and get your views through the strangeness of how you started.
Yeah, it seems totally possible. Right. I mean, yeah.
Mr. Chocolate Rain like started out kind of just as like a fun YouTube kind of thing, but Mr. Chocolate Rain makes videos now in sort of semi-serious music.
Yeah.
So my final thought is that I do like, okay, listen, I make music. I do. If you're listening to this several months from now, you get it.
Yeah.
I make music.
As a musician in our midst.
I'm a magician.
Yeah.
And I kind of sort of get the insomnia aspect, the sort of like obsessive, semi-obsessive nature of like making a song and having to stay up to just finish something and persist through that kind of thing. So I get like that aspect of it. Like maybe like my sort of the way it manifests through me is like different to how it manifests in Anil, which is like these are 100,000 songs. This is like I have been doing this since I was a wee baby, but I haven't been writing for that long.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't think in my entire lifetime I may crack 100,000.
That's a good question. Let me consult Let's see. What's Dolly Parton? Let's see if we can find how many songs Dolly Parton's written in her long career.
Long career, Dolly Parton. Because like at this time, I think I'm making like 2 songs a month and finishing one of them.
Okay, so from the Grammy.com, Dolly Parton estimates that she has written close to 3,000 songs. And this article came out, I'm not seeing, but it's from, it seems pretty recent. Because it says her 70-year career. Okay, 2022.
So that's like cracking through that. So like, okay, let's say like, what is a rough estimate of age do you think Anil is at right now?
Right now, I would say my guess would be probably like late 30s, early 40s, maybe. If we're going off of like late teens, early 20s in 2009, maybe, right?
So that, okay,
plus 15. Yeah, let's say mid 30s. Let's say, yeah.
So okay, so how many? So that's 30 times what? 3. So that's 10,000. Okay, 10,000 days. 11,000 days.
Okay,
is it 30 times?
Right, but we have to remember that he was saying that he'd written over at one point he's at 150,000 songs in like back in 2009. So that would mean
10,000. So that's 11,000 days, right?
Between then and now,
or 30 times. The 30 years.
30
I
years.
did 30 years because I was like, maybe like, so like, let's say, okay.
Yeah.
So at 18, I'm sorry, how many? Let's do 15 years instead. Times 365. So that's 5,500 days, right?
Okay.
So if you're doing 150,000.
That'd be like, what, 30 songs a day?
Yeah. 30 songs a day. Okay, let's say, okay. Yeah. Not a song doesn't have to be 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Right, it doesn't have to have like the verse, chorus, outro kind of situation. So maybe it's like, what is like Anil's definition of like a finish
of a song?
Maybe Anil can crank out like Anil didn't say they were good songs.
That's true. There's or long songs or anything. There's just songs. So
he's not doing like ambient like 20-minute music.
As far as we know, yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's like if we did like 15 years, 15 times 365, blah 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 blah. Like this is like 30 songs a day.
Yeah.
Anil, 150,000 songs.
Yeah, blowing Dolly Parton out of the water there. Bye.
Anil, if you did a masterclass,
yeah,
I would attend because I'm putting out 2 a month.
Yeah,
like maybe I need to start going, Brother Anil. Please accept.
Yeah, you got to start. we need a new fan page
accept.
For Anil has to pop up.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't know, Anil. You know what? Masterclass. Yeah. Get that cash using that masterclass, Anil.
Right. And we're saying like
come back to music.
Now that we're another 15 years down the road, we're expecting at least 300,000 songs.
300,000 songs, Anil.
Which is a lot. That's a yeah. I don't even know the scale of songs. Like that's a deep catalog. I don't. Yeah. If
have you actually heard any of his music though?
I did not find anything that he appeared to have written.
So he's just like, these are my songs that I have written. They are in these notebooks.
They are in these notebooks. I will one day sing them and bring the true reality.
He could have put them out. Wow.
He could have put them out. It seems like that is very feasible, especially given that it looks like he does have money. Like he has money for studio time or like anything like that. You can be an
independent creator, Anil. You don't need to subscribe to mainstream studios and companies.
Right.
Anil, you can self-fund.
Yeah.
Like in the songs that you have heard him cover, how's his voice? Like, what's the opinion on his voice?
You heard the Move Your Feet. It's about that in most of them.
So it's like a standard, like he's not singing badly.
No, I'm not a judge of voices. I don't have a good voice. I'm not here to
I don't think he's singing badly.
No, I don't think so.
Source me.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know, Anil. Like I think if you have the cash money now, you got that big money.
It's totally doable for him. I think, yeah, right.
You have the clout of being Anil, human being 151 Insomniac.
Yeah.
Just put that shit out. Go with like the Rebecca Black way of like, you started out with like a very like bad song that people like bullied you about, but now you're making like genuinely good music.
I mean, and the thing is now, like, this is the time too, because he's got the heat again because people are going back to the Brother Diddy video. And so it's like
release a Diddy diss track.
Right. If I think he was probably the guy behind Human Being 15. If he just dropped another song right now, like, or dropped like a song on that channel, I think it would blow up. I think it would be like, oh wow, because people are already like ready to be like, yeah, man, this guy knew what was going on. Like 15 years ahead of everybody. He was tapped in. Right, like, ride that wave. But
Neil, if you want that SEO, now is the perfect time to fucking release BBL Diddy. Or
BBL Diddy. There we go. Yeah.
BBL Diddy, baby. Come on.
Yeah.
Neil.
Come on, Neil.
Now when we need you.
Yeah.
Stop playing with that tiger. I know that tiger's probably like a fucking teenager now. Like, leave that tiger alone. Come back.
Come back to the game. Come back in the music game. Oh my God. But yeah.
Yeah. That was very interesting.
Yeah. Shout out to Neil, wherever you are.
Look at influencership.
Yeah.
The strangeness of early internet.
Yeah. To the modern internet.
Good to see it.
Yeah. We're still in it.
We're almost in our 30s. So I'm 1 year away.
Yeah. I have 0 songs under my belt. So
I have less than 1,000. I remember Cracked. Remember Listicle.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That was an era. That was real.
That was so real.
Yeah. I mean, Cracked is still going, but it seems like Cracked is mostly like ads now. I mean, from my recent experiences on there.
Clickbait ads.
Yeah. And like trying to drive to like the Cracked shop. And it's like, why are we doing this?
Oh my God.
Why are you selling like this shit? Okay. Anyway.
What are they selling?
Oh, it's like kind of like, like weird, like gadget stuff. It seems like, like kind of remarketed Temu tier shit, where it's like, oh, it's like spy glasses or whatever. And it's like, what is this? Why are we selling like self-warming mugs, No.
Cracked. You could just return back to the basics of the internet. That's what we miss here.
That's what we miss. But many Cracked alums have moved to a great comedy website, 1-900 Hot Dog, or have actually started. And so there, comedy writing is still around on the internet. You just have to.
Comedy is not done.
Yeah, no longer on the big platforms, which have been gutted by private equity interests. So
yeah, and I feel like a lot of those platforms were like the main way for people to post their comedy work kind of thing. But now you can have like independent, like I have a blog now, I have a Substack, I have a Twitter where you can find all my work, I have a Tumblr, I have a blog. So like it's less, what is it, in one place now, and it's more like everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Kind of thing.
The internet's changed.
The internet has changed from everything being on YouTube to now everything being on YouTube or Prime or on TikTok, your personal website. Instagram. Yeah. So yeah. We sound like we're not that old.
Back in my day. Yeah, no.
And back in my day, everything was on youtube.com.org.edu.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, JD. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's my turn. I wrapped this up last night because I truly was like, am I? Yeah, I'll explain. I'll explain as I go. But yeah, I'll be completely honest with you. This one had me stumped. Not just because of reasons Ben and you are now aware of, but because I was maybe thrown off by one of the comments who could just be fucking around or not when they said, quote, "You have to read it over a few times to fully understand the twist." Mm-hmm. I give it a 6.4 out of 10. And I could be fucked based on my complete decision to trust that this comment means that I have to read this thing over and over again in order to understand it and then find myself at a never ending loop of like, yeah, this is something big to like, this is just a weird nightmare.
How many times did you read it?
A lot. I did like the inspect source, inspect page, just in case there was like a hidden link. Yeah, like they hid the link. They didn't have it. It's like, it's not highlighted as blue, but it's just white, so it blends in with the text. I was clicking the words.
Yeah.
And then I eventually just put it into a doc in the drive because I was like, there's nothing on there. JD, stop clicking the fucking page. But yeah, and that experience, I was like, isn't that what the protagonist of Data is watching is going through? An infinite loop of trying to escape a terrible feeling, an ominous creature watching over you, waking up only to find yourself still stuck in the rigmarole of it all. I literally was going through this over and over again, and I was like, am I in literary hell? And then after clicking on the page, wishing that there was a link, I was like, am I dumber than everybody? But what I'm talking about today is a story contributed by SPNG453. They've got a My Little Pony icon, but for some reason, I'm reading SPNG as Sponge.
I'm reading it. Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah. It's a first-person retelling of someone having a nightmare experience about something messing with their concept of space, time, and privacy. Our protagonist wakes up for another day, another dollar, and finds themselves stuck in a time loop. But as it's short, and this is going to help all of us later on, I'm actually going to read it to you. This is our first
live reading.
Okay. First live reading. I have to get out of my it's going to help us voice. What if I read it that way the whole time? I woke up in my room alone. Just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Okay. So here it goes. Data's watching. Okay. I woke up in my room alone. This was another day of the daily grind, but this time when I walked out of my bedroom, things were a little different. This hallway was clearly a hallway, but not my hallway. I went back into my room and checked everything that I knew about my room that nobody else would, like the chip in my bed frame or the small peeling area of my wallpaper. Everything was exactly the same, so I walked into the hallway again, and I noticed that it changed a little bit, but I couldn't put my finger on exactly what changed. So, as I walked forward, I heard a small whisper. It stated something about watching, but I didn't completely hear it. Anyway, I continued into the hallway, which made me a small bit disoriented. Afterward, I heard another voice. "Feeling dizzy, are you?" it asked. In reply, I yelled for it, whatever it was, to let me back into my own house. In response to my command, it disobeyed and shut the hallway behind me. I started running towards the place where the hall was closing. I woke up again. I had read about this kind of thing, where you could get stuck in an infinite dream loop. But whatever was talking to me was real, and I knew it. Then, in the distance, I heard, I am watching. I am all. I am data. I am V2T, capital S, 2, lowercase l, lowercase y, capital T, lowercase k, lowercase h, capital V, lowercase a, 2, lowercase h, capital X, capital V, lowercase j, uppercase j, S, capital S, sorry, A, capital F, capital I, lowercase s, capital V, lowercase m. Why am I doing this without my glasses? Capital F, lowercase j, capital V, lowercase m, capital R, lowercase z, capital U, capital I, capital R, lowercase s, capital U, capital V, capital U, capital M, capital D, lowercase k.
Wait. Can you back 3 characters? I think I missed the last one.
Sorry. Capital U, capital M, capital D, lowercase k, equal sign, period. Go ahead. Out your door.
Uh-huh.
I dare you. Bam. That's Data's watching. One super cool thing about this is the line of code that I read out to you. Capital V. Just kidding. I'm not gonna fucking do it again. I can't fucking see it. Which user Hikage Makoru pointed out in 2015. They noticed that it seemed to be the encoding base 64.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly, base 64 is encoding. You can find this in email attachments, URLs, along with a bunch of other places. I gave it a try to see if their encoding was right, and it was, which is fun. I ran it through base64decode.org, and in 4 decodings, we get that long line of letters and numbers translates to white face. So it's actually, I am watching, I'm all, I'm data, I'm white face.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Okay.
Ben,
yeah.
What are your thoughts so far?
I mean, so white face. So do we see the voice? No, so that's it. That's it. It's those couple paragraphs, right?
It's just I woke up, I went outside, it was weird. I came inside, I heard a voice.
Couldn't get out. Okay.
It said this long line of letters that I knew exactly how to capitalize in lowercase.
I mean, yeah, that's a mystery there. Interesting. Okay. So, I'm very curious about what you got from it on your deep dive and multiple rereadings, because
I felt insane.
Yeah.
Quite literally, the dumbest thing I could say about this was how did he write down the line of code? Was he because we read this, Ben read this out loud, and when he read it, he literally did the whole capital V, 2, lowercase t, capital S, capital. And for you to write this down, like, if this was your dream and you're like writing all of this down, I would just write it on lowercase letters. I'm just like BTS.
Do you think the whiteface said it as capital lowercase? That's the only way it would work, right?
It did exactly what you did last time when you read it, which is quite literally capital. I am Data. I am capital V. Like took a deep ass breath and then let out a after the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, unless he like it was by modulations of like tone. If he was like V, J, like that would be the only other way I could see it working.
That's the and this person didn't see anything, so it didn't like flash like but like maybe like okay, like it flashed it in your head, so you saw the letters in your head, but it's also like. Am I just stupid?
It's a dream. It's a dream loop, right? So, like, potentially, does that just keep happening? So after thousands of times, they were like, "It's the capital V. I know that voice. That's capital."
Yeah, it's like, oh shit! I noticed that it's a little bit more booming every time he says something as a capital letter, and it's quieter when he says a little. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Oh, did he say like equal sign? Like, did he must sign period?"
There's another way to say that, right?
Yeah, like
period. That's how he ended it.
Period. Yeah. Like I am Data. Period. Yeah. Like that's exactly what he did. Maybe I should have read it in that voice of like I woke up again and I read about this gonna be. But like you can stick it into it. Period. Like Data is like kind of a slayer.
A little bit. Yeah.
But to get back into it, it's at this point that I read the comment above that was like, you gotta read it over and over again. I give it a 6.4 out of 10. And yeah, that is, I think, where I fucked up. I read the other comments and they were like completely fine. I felt the same. People were like, what is this about? Is this about like big data? It's about Big Brother, big hallway, big indoors. Like the most like sensible comment about like looking into it was like the one that was like, oh, this seems like I'm an IT guy. This is base 64 and it means whiteface. Like, and then when someone was like, is whiteface like another creepypasta that we have to know about? Like, the person who left the comment did not respond to that. So I was sitting there going, oh my God.
Yeah.
I literally looked this up on the internet everywhere and it's just like readings. People reading it. And I'm like, can y'all help me?
A little analysis, please. Yeah. You looked up whiteface and you read up like reverse racism pages. They were like,
and it was like, oh, is white chicks whiteface? And I was like, please stop it right now. It's not the time. I'm doing a literary analysis.
Why aren't there any more white couples in commercials? Like that kind of
There's always some sort of like mixed race couple.
Yeah.
And then the mixed race couple is like a white Hispanic woman and a black guy. And it's just like, please be fucking serious.
Where did our country go? Yeah, right.
And I'm like, exit.
Yeah.
Clear Ecosia. But so you're probably like going like, how did JD go about like not? How did JD solve not getting this? And how did I solve not getting it? I didn't.
Okay.
But how did we do that in school? Right, from the streets of beep, 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 high school. 10 years ago, I bring you my literary analysis of Data is Watching.
Okay.
JD is watching. So as I've read the story to you, I expect you to now be able to go through this whole thing with me and analyze it well. I have very high expectations for you, and I'm turning this on you. So the first analysis is using a literary analysis worksheet that I found, and it's called Read a Book. So we're going to go through this together, and we're going to answer and go through some questions, right? So the first question is like, how does the setting affect the mood of the story? And my answer was that it's sort of like, for me at least, it made me feel a little bit claustrophobic because it's set inside of a home. It's like a place that I know, like I have a home. I know what a hallway is. I know what those things are. I feel like this could happen to me. It makes me feel stuck in that place. And then there's a photo that comes with it that sort of adds to that feeling because the photo is like black and white. So like the affects the mood of the story by giving me this like sort of familiar feeling in a claustrophobic way, right? The second question is like, what is the theme / author's message in the story? And it's not a very long piece, so I literally had to sit there. I'm like, what is the theme of this? What is the message? And I was just like, something is always watching you at every time, even if you might not know. But then also because there's a part in the beginning where he was like, where the OP was like, I woke up, it was like another day, another dollar kind of thing. And I was like,
Right.
Maybe like mundanity breeds like contempt and strangeness. Like you go through the same shit every day and like suddenly something weird happens and you don't know how to handle it. Right. Because you have an expectation of the day and suddenly something goes weird and you're like, right.
Yeah.
And I was like, JD, it's not that. And I was like, whatever. But okay. And then we move on to explain how the theme or the main character's conflict in the story is similar to another story that you have read. And the most recent episode of Ice Cream Meme podcast, it reminds me of the SCP-1733 and the fear of getting stuck in a time loop. Shout out Only One Up. And the idea that you can't escape something in such a mundane setting. In some ways, this is both more and less terrifying than 1733 because you're in it alone, right? So it's less scary because like when you're alone, to others, it can be less terrifying because they will never experience it. But when you're with other people, it can be less terrifying because you're sharing that experience with other people. Right. But at the same time, if you're alone, you don't get to share that experience with other people and they might not believe you as you're forever trapped in this horrible thing that only you're aware of. So it's like being stuck in a time loop alone is both like scary for you and comforting for others because they're like, I don't know what you're going through. I don't relate to you.
Yeah, it's unrecognizable from the outside perspective, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. And then moving on to the next one, which is write a simile or a metaphor to compare an object or character or place in the story to something else. And I was like, listen, I'm just going to compare it to something that I saw on Twitter, which is, this was this tweet that I saw about the idea that like, it was basically like this woman tweeting to Amazon about like an Amazon like truck driver who has like a Palestine flag in their like truck. And then they were like, Amazon, is this what you want your employees to have in their truck? And then it was like, it was about the idea that like someone like QRT'd it or quote tweeted it was like, this is like the idea that like we're warned about like other countries that are like they're in constant surveillance,
right?
And how like they're like, oh my god, in this country like they're always being watched and everyone becomes each other's watchers and they police each other's actions and oppress them without the direct action of the state. Like we're told that like this is what happens in other countries, but that is happening here to us all the time. Where at any point someone could take a picture of you and then tweet it and like, hey, do you guys see this person? Like we are in a surveillance state that is of our own making, kind of like situation. Yeah. Like we're told that here and other countries, like they do that. But like to say that like here is better when we're actually doing it to each other, actually.
Right. And to ourselves, right? With like,
yeah, I was like, that's what I can compare this story to, the surveillance state, right? And then the next one was describe how an object or character or place in the story became a symbol with another meaning. And I was like, okay, maybe like the data, right? It starts off as just like a voice. And then by the time at the end of the story, they become this being that's watching and it's all like, I am everything. So they just start off as like a little creepy voice, but then they turn out to be everything. Right?
Yeah.
And then what is the tone about the subject of the writing? What is the tone about the subject of writing of the writer/narrator? I copied that word for word from the worksheet, so don't tell me nothing. And I was like, oh, the narrator seems like a little bit like weary, just a tiny bit fearful about the thing that they're writing about. So I was like, okay, so that was like my first attempt at like understanding this and trying to see where the twist was. And to that person who wrote that comment, I fucking hate you with all of my goddamn heart. I did this first analysis thinking, where is the twist?
Yeah.
Is the twist that like it's just a weird voice, but then all of a sudden it's like watching all, and I was like, that's not a twist. That seems very like straightforward. That's not like That's not like old. You go on the beach and then like you turn old, but then it's actually a science experiment. The beach makes you old because of science.
It's no Shyamalan, yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, so I was like, whatever. But now that we've done that, let's do a second one that's a little bit more in depth than the first one. And it's like more of like finish the sentence, right? The author wrote this piece too, and I was like, okay, talk about an experience that they had,
yeah.
Right? And the main idea of this piece is I had a strange dream that felt real and turned out it was actually sort of real. The message or theme of the selection, which the author would like us to take away, I put not sure.
Sure.
Maybe that there's always something watching you out there and you never truly know if it's real or not. And then it was like, list the characters, the protagonist, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the main character is the protagonist.
Yeah.
The antagonist is... Yeah. The antagonist is Data or Data, wherever you're from.
Whiteface.
And Whiteface. Did the author use any special literary devices in the selection, such as personification, metaphor, simile, foreshadowing, suspense, flashback, imagery, irony, humor, poetic sound, all of those, right? And then list and give specific examples. So it's like imagery. I literally felt like I was doing like middle school work. I was like, okay, the imagery is like the chip in my bed frame or the small peeling area of my wallpaper.
Right.
Gave me a little bit of like the yellow wallpaper. I was like, okay, maybe this person's going through, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the twist. This is like the modern yellow wallpaper. I don't know. Then I was like, okay, they used suspense because the very last line of the whole text is go ahead, out your door. I dare you.
Right.
And it cuts there and you're like, what happened?
Oh,
right? And then we have a little bit of foreshadowing in this tiny bit of text, which is, so I walked into the hallway again and I noticed that it changed a little bit, but I couldn't put my finger on exactly what changed. The foreshadowing that something weird happened, but they don't exactly know and something's going to go crazy, right?
I think there's like something very evocative about like the line, this hallway was clearly a hallway, but not my hallway. Does the repetition signify something, you think?
Yeah. And I was like, this is a hallway.
Because it's like there's that, and that's like very, service level. It's just a generic hallway, right? But it's not their hallway. But then we get
not my hallway.
The depth of description in the next paragraph, where they get into the chip in the bed frame and the peeling area of the wallpaper, is so specific, so personal.
That's what makes it not hashtag in my hallway.
Yeah.
Right? And then, okay, again, they were like, what's the tone about the subject? And I was like, they're fearful and a little bit weary of like the changes like that's happening in their hallway. And then by the end, they're fearful directly of Whiteface / Data. Yeah. Right. And then I was like, what was the point of view? It's first person. What are the conflicts in this selection? I was like, there's the like narrator versus Data, Whiteface. And I was like, maybe also a little bit of narrator versus the daily grind. Cause they wake up and they're just like, another fucking day, another dollar. And I was like, that's not an obvious conflict in it, but you can kind of feel like the resentment towards the daily grind.
Yeah.
Right. And then the final one is if this was a fiction, nonfiction, or dramatic work, list the most important parts of the plot. So I'm like, it's fiction. And so the exposition section is like the narrator waking up and describing the feeling of waking up in the daily grind. The rising action is when they walk out into the hallway, but it wasn't their hallway. Went back into the room to check everything was the same. And then they leave and they're like, oh, something feels off. I can't identify what. We're going up. And then the climax is they go back out into the hallway and they hear a whisper. And they keep going through the hallway. They feel weird about it, and they're sort of stuck in the hallway. Can't get back into their house. And the falling action is the narrator waking up from their dream, realizing that they're familiar with this kind of loop dream. They're sure what happened was real, and something whispers to them and says that they are real.
Right.
And I'm Data, and I'm watching. And the resolution is maybe not a complete resolution, but we find out what the thing is, Data, Whiteface, and it tells us what it does, and then it challenges the narrator to go back outside, right?
Right.
So that's like the basic composition of it. And by the end of that, I was like, what is this about?
Sure. Okay.
And like quite literally, I was like,
so the worksheet did not.
It didn't, because I was just like, I was like, that is exactly what I thought it was about.
Right.
What's the twist? Is this comments are just like going on other like creepypastas going like, oh yeah, I got this. Here's a twist.
Yeah.
And not.
But there's no twist.
Maybe I need to investigate that commentary. Like, because
here's a question I would pose to you. Is it potentially Data from Star Trek who has a very white face?
I did think about
that.
Because, yeah, because like maybe a couple days after like reading this, and every time my friend was watching Star Trek and was like posting about Data, and I was like, maybe
it might be. I mean, the face is pretty white, and it could be. I mean,
Yeah,
Maybe?
like at this point, I was like trying to figure out the fucking like anything at all, but also like maybe it's like the hallway, the house.
Yeah.
They said that this is like I'm in the hallway, but it keeps telling me to go back. But the person keeps begging to get back into their house. Are they not in a house? They're in an apartment. They're in a condo. I was like, is that the twist? They're not in a house. They're in an apartment. Like, what's going on? And I was like, I need to stop.
Yeah, because they were in the hallway. Yeah. But then it says, let me back into my house.
Exactly.
But then I started running towards the place where the hall was closing. So they're back inside the hallway. So did they live in an apartment, or do they live in like, is it like a studio apartment where they only have one room? Because initially it's just one room. Yeah. And then they go into a hallway, which doesn't necessarily imply that it's outside of their house.
Yeah. So it was like, is that it's like a weirdly formatted house? Are they in an experiment? Like, is this like a test subject and they're being watched by a scientist? Like, I am data. I know all. I have the data on you. I know all about you because you're an experiment. The daily grind is the experiments that I put you through. Right. I don't know. Truly, I literally was like knocking at every door going, what the fuck is this about actually? Yeah. It's not just a straightforward thing. Maybe that's a twist. Maybe. I don't know. Huh. Right? So what do we learn from the literary analysis of Data's watching? I learned that I straight up don't know how I did this for AP Lit testing and got a good grade on it. But a good, what was it, like a 4? I don't know. I don't remember. But that I'm glad that literary devices stuck around with me until now. Right? Like some 10 years later, I didn't need to look up what any of these things were, and I just could answer these questions. And I was like, "What? Yeah. Stick me back in high school in the same exact way.
You're good, baby. You got this."
Yeah, but I'd want to leave. But yeah, so what I did actually learn is first thing is it's okay to say you don't understand something.
Okay. Yeah.
What may not be okay all the time is to stop there and continue to not know. Yeah. I know I joke a lot using that Griffin McElroy meme of like, I don't know what X is, and at this point I'm afraid to ask. And I fully believe in that. Like, but there are aspects of life and culture that I don't think that would be my motto and strategy, right? Of course, we're not always meant to know everything. To be all knowing would hurt and mean that there's nothing left for you to learn, or that you refuse to learn more about things. So like, yeah, fuck it, we ball if we don't know what the hell a skibbity toilet is at this point in life. Yeah. But also like there are some things that you should still definitely look into and get to know more about. Maybe you do want to know what a skibbity toilet is. Sure. Yeah. Maybe you do want to know what phantom tax is. That kind of thing.
W-Riz. Right?
Yeah. You know, those words that are definitely real. And then second thing is like our experiences shape the way that we understand something, right? Whether it be experience in a career, experience from everyday life, experience in anything at all, to be honest, right? That shapes the way that we interpret or understand something. We can all have a blanket interpretation of something, but each of us can also have a second, third, fourth, whatever understanding of something based on our lived experiences, right? This means that my joke about big data and big hallway may as well be a joke, but that could also be someone's experience and interpretation of a piece of text. Maybe I was joking about like, I don't know the format of this house, blah, blah, blah. Like, what the fuck is going on? But they're like, someone's probably reading this as like, we all don't know what a home is because we don't all have like a familiarity of like what a home necessarily is. We all live in different places. Like maybe like when someone uses house, they interpret it as like a house, like in a neighborhood, like versus like an apartment. Is an apartment a house to you, right? Or like, what is the home? Like that kind of thing, right? Sure, yeah. And I remember that like in one of my AP Lit essays, like the pre-start of like the AP Lit class, like we had a summer assignment where we had to analyze a book that we picked from a list to prepare for that year to show the teacher like what we understood pre-AP Lit and then what he would need to teach us more about. Yeah. And I remember my analysis of the specific book, but I can't remember what book it was. But I distinctly remember that my teacher did not agree with my analysis, but gave me a good grade on it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So he was like, I don't think this is what it meant, but this is fantastic. And I was like, how is that possible? Yeah. Right. It was one of those things that was like, I think I came to the conclusion that was like, it's okay to commit a crime because it's against a rich person. Sure. Yeah. And listen,
a stance that we still take on that. Yeah.
I'm not Robin Hood, but you said it, teacher. You came to that conclusion based on reading my text. So, sure, I probably should have interpreted it the way that the author intended for me to interpret it, or at least like what my teacher thought the interpretation actually was. But I think I just went into this thinking like, this is what the story is because this is how I understood it. To be about wrong, I guess. A good grade though. I did love that AP Lit class. It was an AP Lit class like at like 7:50 in the morning. Like, what did you think I was gonna know at like 17 years old, 18 years old. Like, be serious. But we also get a very cool direct example from our homie Hikage above, where their experience in IT led them to see that the string of text was something that can actually be decoded. Because to me, it did just look like it meant something, but I didn't immediately think that, like, oh, this is Space 64, because I just know coding.
Sure, yeah.
Because I'm not a fucking loser. Just kidding. Hikage, you were the only thing that made sense in that comment section. I love IT people so much. And the third thing is that ambiguity can happen in something that seems very straightforward, right? I've already told you my moment of despair when it comes to seeing that comment about the twist. I just thought that this was about big data, some M. Night business.
Yeah, sure.
Right? I didn't know that it was going to be M. Night.
Right.
Yeah. And that could also actually be just a fucking joke from that commenter. And this third point is overshadowed by me being told that I am of what is pictured when you look up when you look up the word gullible in the dictionary. But for your information, I'm pictured when you look up the moon in the dictionary, you sicko. But yeah, with that being said, is it okay to not get things? Yeah, full stop. Next section. What do we learn from data is watching, though? Just like from the surface level, right?
Yeah.
Like we can think and learn more about the concept of big data and the way that it constantly listens and watches us. We can consider the panopticon, right? The surveillance state that we live in. Lots of things, but for our purposes, mostly that there's a genuine fear of being stuck in something and doomed to repeat it until the end of time.
Right.
So, like, what is the fear of doing things over and over again, right? Repeating a day in your life, being stuck in it, later becoming cognizant that you're doing it over and over again is kind of insane to me. If I consider today and think about living it over and over again, in the first couple of runs, it would be fine because I wouldn't know. But as it replays and progresses, the more aware I am of living the day over and over again with no escape, my mind would decay, I think. I'm a thinker, sure. I would do my best to get out, but I think that I would just go to the extremes and do my best to figure out how to get myself out of there. What's permanent and what's impermanent? What would JD do? Never being able to move on and grow and break free from a day would definitely ruin my mind and lead me to do some drastic things to try and break free from the day and also myself. Then to have that happen to thousands of people at once. Does that block of text sound familiar if you're going through one by one each episode of Ice Cream You Meme? It's because I stole that quote directly from SCP-1733.
Repeating here. Okay.
I'm just repeating it. So how can we relate this to 1733? You should go give yourself deja vu again by re-listening to that episode. But I think that we can relate this to SCP, in my opinion. Not too directly, but the theme of being stuck in something and later becoming cognizant that you're doing it over and over again. If I consider today and think about living it over and over again, in the first couple of runs, it would be fine because I wouldn't know. But as it replays and progresses, the more aware I am of living the day over and over again with no escape.
He's just repeating the script, too. Trying to make it like a meta thing over here.
Gotcha. I was looking at your face as you realized. Anyway, that's my bit on Data is Watching and a tiny love letter to JD in middle through high school for their love of overanalyzing literature and getting teachers breathing down their neck for saying something about a book that's not completely interpreting it as it is most of the time. Little JD, you are the funniest bitch on earth. But I'd also like to say, if you're looking at this in the script and not seeing a lot of my usual citations, it's because I thought as I did this in the same way that I would do a lot of class exams in honors English and AP Lit, just like straight off the dome and what I learned in boarding school.
We're using scripts from the last episode.
For the bit, because I was like, is Ben gonna immediately realize that first part? What about the second part? And then I was looking over at you. That's what I was cracking up your face. You were like, wait a fucking second. But yeah, Ben.
Yeah,
that's Data is Watching.
Data is Watching.
What are your thoughts?
I give it a 4 out of 10. Personally, it's not.
But you didn't get the twist.
I didn't get the twist at all. No, I think I was fucking with people. I don't think it was.
I'll send you the literary analysis worksheets. You go through it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this was one of the rare ones where I knew what you were going to be doing because I had read the story. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? Then we read it together. And glad to see that in a month of research there was nothing else.
Nothing. I literally was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
I mean, Sometimes it'd be like that sometimes, and that's okay.
It was good though because I did get to like exercise like AP lit class, so like my mind on like literary analysis of a creepypasta.
Yeah,
and I was just like, what? Like I read it the first time and this is what I got from it. Like, what is the fucking plot twist? Like, what are you talking about? Because someone literally replied to that. I was like, I didn't see the twist. Can you please tell me? And then no response to that person. Right. And I was like,
silence for 10 years. Yeah.
I was like, are you serious? You're just gonna fucking say that and then not add to it?
Yeah.
You fucking shithead.
Yeah. I feel bad for people that didn't understand this. Understand what? I'm sorry, peasant. I can't help you.
Was that meme of the guy going like this and disappearing?
Yeah, pretty much.
I was like, why would you say that? Like, go ahead and gatekeep. Go ahead, keep your secrets, but also like fucking tell me, you shithead.
Yeah. I mean, did you see how many views there were? There's 9 comments on this story.
I don't think it's like a lot because it's because it's like I didn't see the views when I inspected the source of the page.
Right.
Truly, I was like looking it up, and then it was mostly like maybe like one YouTube video like doing a reading of it, and then I was like, oh, let's do every like Boolean term search way that I know.
See if I can find anything on the
Yeah, and it was just like. It was like, no, JD, fuck off.
No, not for you. Yeah.
It's like, no, you're doing the analysis of this for the first time ever, you shithead. And then I didn't do that because I was fucking confused by a single comment.
I mean, what is there really to analyze? Like, yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, I think you did a good job because it is like, 5 paragraphs of writing, basically.
Like, I just kind of was like, oh, maybe this is about like big data. Like, if this was a dream from the narrator or the person who wrote it, dreams are just weird sometimes. Dreams sometimes don't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's like the whole... Yeah, the only reason that it's the infinite dream loop thing gets mentioned in the text, but there's nothing else in it to indicate that it is actually... a loop. It's just like he was just like, I've heard about dream loops, and it's like there's nothing to indicate that things were repeating within the story. It's just like boom, dream loop. Yeah, I mean, again, so Sponge
453 get it together, come back with a fucking sequel.
Do they have other stories? Do they have other creepypastas?
No, I went on there and like, what are their contributions? They don't have other posts. They like wrote this in like 2012.
This was their dream. This was just a dream that they had and they just shared.
This was just a dream diary they put on Creepypasta.
Might be.
And I found it because I hit random. And I was like, dreams don't make sense. I once had a dream that was like I was carrying an alien, but I cut off the legs and the arms of it. And I was just like, what does that mean?
Yeah, right.
I was like, maybe I should put that on Creepypasta and never answer anybody who was like, what does this mean?
Accept the mystery.
Can't dreams just be fucking weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, to me, I was like, it's straightforward. It's like sometimes the story is just straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there was a twist in there, really.
Yeah, this is not a girl who's living in an old village and leaves the village and turns out she's like in like 1990 or something.
Right, yeah.
And they're just, blah, blah, blah. Don't go out there because there's monsters. No, don't go out there because they have computers.
Yeah, this is not one where Dave Bautista comes to your cabin and tells you that you have to kill one of your loved ones because the world will end otherwise. But then that you know that the world is ending because you can see it on TV and there's also like planes crashing and shit. And then
what is the twist of that one, Ben?
There was no twist to that, really. I mean, I think that was supposed to be like the twist was that they reveal spoilers for Knock at the Cabin Door, whatever it is. It's exactly what it says it is. That's exactly what's happening. Like they're like, it's Dave Bautista's like, yes, you have to like kill your husband or your daughter, and then if you don't, then the world will end. And then that's exactly what is happening. And it's like the world is ending, and they see that the world is ending, and then somehow they're still like, oh my god, the world is ending. I have to kill my husband or my daughter. And it's like, yeah, he told you straight up that was what was happening. You could have believed him like an hour and a half ago. That was supposed to be that was supposedly the twist was that Dave Bautista was telling the truth, I think was like the twist. But it was like he was telling the truth. It's not like, and you see it when you're like watching the movie because it's like you see it and then they like clip to like, planes falling out of the sky. And the trailer. Yeah. So it's not a surprise.
Maybe M. Night was like, the twist is that I was telling the truth the entire time.
Maybe much like Data's watching, the twist is that there is no twist. So it's just like straight up, what you see is what you get. And people are like expecting a twist.
Yeah, they're like, maybe he's just, maybe this is an experiment. Maybe when they leave the woods, they've actually been on some sort of Truman Show situation.
That would be like the standard Shyamalan twist, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like
so he was like, I'm not going to put a twist in this one.
It seems like it. I mean, they kind of played it like it was a twist reveal at the end, but it's like, yeah, you saw the trailer. Like, we know shit is going on. Like, I don't know. So
that was me during Dana's watching.
Yeah. Good Dave Bautista performance, though.
Yeah, I think Dave Bautista is able to leave the Dave Bautista body in a way that Dwayne The Rock Johnson is not.
I think Dave Bautista is a much more talented actor. I'll go to say that. Yeah. And I think seems like more of a sincere person, I think, in some ways.
Yeah. I wish, does Dave Bautista has tattoos. I wish he would drop a line that was about tattoos and keeping it instead of Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who has Papa Tui, who I tried, has like tattoo like revitalizing thing. It's very sticky. Like if you have long hair and I think maybe because Dwayne The Rock Johnson does not have hair, but listen, man, other people will have hair. And if I put it on one of these guys and I'm sitting down and my hair gets stuck on it, it is the most unpleasant feeling on earth. You have to basically, if you're going to use it, you have to be wearing a tank top, you have to not be going in here, and you have to not touch anything because
it will stick.
It's sticky. It's like a bunch of like oil, which is great and fantastic, and it does make it shine, you guys.
Yeah, good to know.
But it's very sticky. That is my review of the Papa Tui tattoo thingy.
Okay. Yeah, Dave Bautista, a very tattooed man as well. Yeah, we love our professional wrestlers on the show. I don't think we have our AAPI professional wrestlers specifically. Yeah.
But yeah, just watching. Go re-listen to me read it and be like, JD, that was straightforward. You just got tricked by a comment. Yeah. That was me.
Well, thank you, Data's watching. Thank you, Anil.
Anil, get back into the game.
Yeah, please. The game needs you now more than ever. Actually, just start releasing music. I don't see.
Get on Bandcamp. Get on SoundCloud. I don't know.
I did. Yeah, I found a Bandcamp that was like Anil, but it was not him. It was like a different guy for sure. I was like, this is not our boy. So get out there. Bandcamp, SoundCloud, whatever you got to do. It's not that hard to get music on Spotify, right? It's like doable.
No, get a distributor and then have your music on there. Get a subscription kind of thing.
Yeah. Reach out, Anil.
Yeah. Ice cream you mean at gmail.com.
Yeah. We have a musician in the a musician.
We have a magician We have two musicians. I think I can have more people on my distribution. So if you want to get on mine, it's cool. You would have to be on my my business brand though, so you would have to be released from Ballot One. So I will not keep your money.
The door of opportunity is open. Yeah. I think
hit me up as long as you
won't
cool.
Yeah. You won't Sean Diddy.
Yeah, you won't fucking do shit that will make me want to punch you in the face. But Diddy. I mean, not Diddy. fuck Diddy.
Fuck Diddy.
Anil. Yeah. Data.
Sponge.
Commenter
provided us more content for the creamies.
I
hope you enjoyed it. I feel like we both kind of subjected ourselves to like unpleasant experiences this one. Like I had to watch a lot of Anil's videos.
I was looking through the history of our channel because I was like trying to find a video.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sure Ben will say something about what he's watching.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna ask.
I went fairly deep.
Yeah, it was like video after video of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, a lot of Flickr collages and.
I was like, I'm not gonna click on any of these. I'm not gonna think about what it's doing to our algorithm because we've already pre-fucked our algorithm.
I don't know if it had that much of an impact. I mean,
it didn't. We're still getting Toad videos.
The Toad is very heavily featured.
Feature like covers of like Frank Sinatra's "My Way."
It's a great song. I do not regret watching that video. Everybody, we're wrapping up here, but go look up Toad Sinatra "My Way"
and watch the other videos on that channel because
he's gonna blow up. I mean that man is putting music out that is just
you could just put up a YouTube video with the song on it.
Toad, the one to watch.
The one to watch. Truly, a warning if you do have asthma, get your shit ready because that hurted me.
I mean, you feel you feel the emotion when Toad's doing a cover.
You feel the strain, you feel the sort of energy that goes into it, and
I almost did it, but I don't want to peak my mic. So.
Ben does that mean you don't have a Toad impression at the ready?
I don't think I do. Do you? Can you drop a Toad? Can you drop a Toad on us?
I'm not gonna drop a Toad or anything. My voice would not be able to handle it. I haven't warmed up and or cooled down.
Yeah, you can't hurt the moneymaker. That'd be.
I cannot hurt this bad boy. We are 2 months away. I can't hurt them.
This episode was written and produced by Ben and JD. For all our sources, please head to the website in the description below. If you would like to reach out with a comment, suggestion, or share an experience with one of our topics today, please send us a message at icecreamyameme@gmail.com. All of the music for the podcast is provided by Yager Frank. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.